The Stocking by Michelle Clemens. Mom loved Christmas. As a child, she and hundreds of other girls spent much of their childhood in Belvedere Orphanage. Christmas at Belvedere was a meager affair with a focus on prayer and services. The holiday could be lonely, as some children went out with grandparents or relatives for a few days, and she remained behind. She looked forward, though, to a fresh orange that she would get Christmas morning, and she would savor every bite, including the peel. It always amazed me as a child how Mom would eat the peel of every fruit. Christmas at the orphanage got a boost when the Yanks came. The tall, strapping soldiers would arrive at the orphanage with a gift for each girl, and they would personally hand it to them in a public event at the auditorium. Our stocking growing up were literally stockings. Mom would save her ruined nylons all year long, and we would tack them to the mantelpiece. On Christmas morning, somewhere between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m., we would sneak downstairs. We shivered with excitement, and we were thrilled to find those nylons stretched to the max with a piece of fruit at the toe. Those tubes of hose were stretched and distorted by a chocolate Santa Claus still in its box, and those wonderful books of Lifesaver candy. The Lifesavers would last me a whole week, and I would savor each and every cherry-flavored one, and I would try to swap out the butterscotch with my brothers for the mint-flavored ones. My eldest brother, Tony, decided at the age of 16 that it was time for us to give Mom and Dad a stocking. He had his first summer job and had saved for winter and for post-secondary education. The stocking was a modest affair, but it became a tradition that we continued long after we'd all moved out of the family home. Mom's stocking, filled by her children, was a highlight for her. There was always chocolate, which made her happy. There was always an individually wrapped gift or two. There were always personal care items like shampoo and hairspray. I always put in a bag of sugar-free candy to tease her and to remind her about her diabetes. Typically, the candy went uneaten. There was one year, in her haste to clean up, she threw out a charm meant for her new necklace. We had disguised the charm because she was always terrible at poking at her stockings at her gift. In those moments, Mom took me back to my own childhood, to the excitement and the anticipation of Christmas morning. This was the kind of Christmas that she longed for as a child. Her desire for magic Christmas seemed to grow decade by decade. My sister, brother, and I spent 40 hours each year decorating her house. Every surface held an ornament, plaque, a stuffed toy, and a figurine. The walls were covered in wreaths, quilts, and plastic Santa images. The floors had mats, making the entrance to every room. Her mattress was covered with Santa sheets. Her quilt and throw blankets all held images of Santa and Christmas. The bathroom shower curtain was covered in reindeer, and the towels covered in poinsettias. My brother put his foot down, though, when she rapped the toilet in the face of Santa. He took the whole bathroom set to the garbage, saying, "No one wants to pee with the big guy watching." Last Christmas, Mom moved into an assisted living home due to her weakened health and complex medical issues. We bought her a small tree, and we covered it with lights and all of her favorite decorations. We covered every surface with rolls of cotton batting and a few of her most precious items. We hung lights all around the room, and we tacked up plastic Santas. Christmas sheets for her small single bed were purchased, and a couple of Santa blankets were placed at the foot of her bed and over her recliner. I painted her toenails a sparkling red, and my sister brought out her Christmas sweaters and scarves out from storage. As her presents arrived, we placed them around her little tree. "Your stocking is ready, Mom. Where do you want it?" I asked. "Oh, I'm not opening it here. If I can't open it at the house, I don't want it." "No problem, Mom. We're all going to Ralph's place. Jackie will get you dressed up and your hair done on Christmas morning, and I will pick you up, and we will spend the day together." "You promise?" "I can't spend Christmas in this place. It'd be like being back at the orphanage all over again." "You and your stocking will be at the house for Christmas." I promised. I had no doubts in my mind. It snowed on December 14th. There was another snowstorm Christmas Eve, which dumped 25+ centimeters. The city came to a slow grind. It stopped for a couple of hours late Christmas Eve, but began again after midnight and continued on and off all night. I looked out of my bedroom window on Christmas morning and thought, can I make this happen? Is it going to be safe to transport Mom? How could we maneuver her chair through all that snow? Christmas morning dawned sunny, but the streets were blocked with snow. I lived on a side street, and I was concerned. My husband got up early, too, and roared the snowblower to life. He did the driveway and enough of the street at the end of our drive for me to get a bit of momentum out to the main road. I called my brother, and he suggested I come get the four-wheel drive, just in case the weather got even worse. I made my way to his place, and the main roads were clear. Thank God. He had his place cleaned right down to the asphalt. We swapped out vehicles, and he went back to prepping the turkey, and I headed on down to the home. My sister was already at Mom's place and had her showered and her hair set in those distinctive curls she really loved. We opened a couple of presents to warm her up and get her into the mood. Next, we bundled her up and headed for the main entrance. I had the vehicle snug to the bottom of the ramp, and I nabbed a shovel from the back street to get rid of it. You know what? Snow that had gathered while we were in. Between the two of us, we stood Mom up, shifted her around, sat her in the SUV, and stowed away her wheelchair. My sister gave me big eyes, and I whispered, I hope it doesn't snow any more today, or we're going to have a really difficult time with the return trip. It could be a nightmare. She said, call me if you need help. We made it safe to the house, and Ralph had reshoveled the driveway and the sidewalk. So on we went into the house. The place didn't have the intensity of decorations Mom was accustomed to, but she was pretty pleased with the results. All the lights were on. A glass of wine was waiting for her. Wine and her stocking, the largest one yet. It overflowed with items, nothing different than what she'd received at some point over the years, but it included all of the possibilities. Shampoo and books, soap and chocolate, toothbrush and jewelry, and yes, the sugar-free candy. Each item was individually wrapped, so it took some time to open it, and she did so carefully, one piece at a time. Oh, we oohed and awed and teased and joked, and she gave me back the candy. The snow started again while we had supper. Turkey with all the fixings. She had a bite of every dish. It was a quiet affair, with most of the family members stuck at their own homes because of the snow. After her cup of tea and trifles, she said, that was lovely. I want to go home now. I'm tired. Give me a few minutes to shovel out the walkway and the driveway, said Ralph. You and I can hit the bathroom before we go, I said, and we headed off to do our routine, which we had mastered over the last couple of years. Bundled up in a red poncho, her stocking already tucked into the car, we rumbled over the rock-salt-covered driveway out to the vehicle. Ralph helped Mom in, and I tucked the wheelchair in the back. Mom and I headed for the home, and we took our time to check out all the lights around the way, recalling the houses which were decked out last year, just to see if they kept up the tradition. We finally pulled into the parking lot, and the staff and I struggled with the chair and the accumulated snow. Finally, we're up in Mom's room, and I was sweating from the endeavor. I knelt on the floor in front of the Mom to remove the footrests from her wheelchair. Mom spoke with a rare candor. I know this was a lot of work to take me out today. I really worried about the snow and what that would mean, that it would mean I couldn't go out. It's okay, Mom. It's really just a bunch of logistics. I'm pretty good with that stuff. I know it's pretty silly to be worried about a stocking, but it has come to mean a lot to me. Oh, I never mind doing it, Mom. It's been our pleasure. You were so happy and surprised by that first one, that very first year. We couldn't help ourselves. We just had to keep it up. Mom said, I don't remember if my mom gave me a stocking. I think sometimes I imagine that she did. I don't even really recall her face. I just remember her being kind. I remember feeling loved. She played with my fingers as they rested on her leg, her eyes on her hands. I still remember that first time the kids gave me a stocking, and I thought, Jesus, they love me. The kids want me to be happy. I didn't feel like an orphan that day. Well, I guess you never really get over losing your mom, whether you're 5 or 15, I said. Or 55, Mom said, patting my hand. We were quiet for a bit, as neither of us knew quite what to say. I got busy again, as was our way, and I helped her with her clothes and got her Santa pajamas on and tucked her into bed, One staff member came by to chat with Mom for a bit and ask her about her day. Apparently, a lot of people's plans had changed. The caregiver wished Mom a Merry Christmas and left, and I plugged in her lights of her Christmas tree. I went next to her bed and leaned over and gave her a kiss. I guess you're right. You never really get over losing your mom. But I have those extra 40 years, and it gives me a hell of a lot more memories to hold on to. So did all those stockings. I smiled and said, some people will light a candle in memory of a loved one. Me? I'll hang a stocking. And every time I see one, I'll think of you. Even if it's a pair of pantyhose, Mom joked. She was smiling. I rolled my eyes and said, especially if they're pantyhose. I think you just did that to make our stockings look bigger to us. A mother has to have her little tricks, she said, as she drew her Santa blanket up to her chin. Oh, you didn't let us do that. The second year you provided us with your own quite sizable stocking, if I remember correctly. Mom closed her eyes. Well, a mother has to have her little tricks, she smiled. I leaned over and kissed her cheek. Merry Christmas, Mom. I will take your stocking to my place, and I will fill it again next year. You better, she said. Her voice was drowsy. I walked across the room, went through the door, and closed it gently behind me. That was last Christmas, and I still have her stocking. This year, it'll be hung at my house. This year, it will have an orange in the toe, her favorite chocolate, and a small bag of sugar-free candy.